Welcome everyone to Wrasslin Raw!
You're listening to Wrasslin Raw, and guess what, everybody? It's going to be another vacation week. Just to throw it out to all of our listeners out there, the summertime is the one time of year where we are mired down in vacations. It's so horrible to have to take so many vacations, but since our little hobby here of the podcast has to take a back seat, we have a missing voice. Joe, what do you think? Do you think we should have done this without Ryan?
Well, no, we have to do it with Ryan, but before anybody jumps to conclusions, Ryan is not really vacationing for pleasure. He's visiting family. So don't judge Ryan that he is out in this pandemic just spreading disease.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I didn't even think of that. Damn. Well, I mean, the real reason, his cover story is that he's visiting family, but the real reason that Ryan is gone is that he is currently in North Carolina infiltrating the Hardy compounds. He is on location trying to get some on-the-ground info about the Hardys and the Hardy family. He was telling us in the texting thread there that he's already had one solid hit. He's been talking to somebody that actually prescribed Jeff Hardy's crazy colored contacts to him. Isn't that some crazy shit? He's making headway.
During the pigtails look for Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. We're going to have to get Ryan to make a full report for all of our listeners whenever he gets back about everything that he found out down there.
Yeah, he sent us a picture of himself with like full camo war paint on and stuff like that because he's just searching around the compound for whatever he can find for us.
I think things had dried up a teensy bit because I think he had ended up going with his plan B, which was to secure a pilot's license and fly around with some kind of surveillance equipment.
To just hover over his house, yeah. Well, in all seriousness, hopefully he's all right because we got this hurricane stuff happening right now, so.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Hurricane Helms.
No. Ryan Arico showed up in North Carolina and God said, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Sending the hurricane at him. But, all that being said, we're off this week. On a side note, though, just to kind of tickle your fancies a little bit, Joseph and I here are working on a small Jack Tunney compendium. It's not going to be anything major. It's going to be just some info about Jack and the life and times of Jack Tunney. But I'm pretty excited to be putting it together as just a special little release for our listeners out there.
Yeah, I think most people remember Jack Tunney as just, the figurehead guy on TV, but he's got quite the background with business relationship with Vince McMahon, so it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised at the amount of just everything that Tunney had going on in the wrestling world. I joke around with the whole most useless name in television thing, but Tunney was a pretty key character in Canada. I mean, I don't want to get too far into the details. We'll leave that for our future Patreon subscribers to find out about. But yeah, Tunney was a big figure.
Yeah, between Tunney and Stu Hart, I think those two guys, really helped Vince get his way into Canada, which we know that Canadian wrestling fans are crazy fans.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for sticking with us here, and thank you all for being patient with us as the world turns and as we go on vacations. So
we got one more Monday Night Raw to recap before In Your House 1, I believe.
And that's the real secret of all of this is we're just postponing the inevitable go home show where quality dips. And let's not forget, this is going to be cheap. This is going to be cheap as hell. So I expect the go home to be equally as cheap.
Yes. $14.99 version.
For less than that, for more than that, you can go buy a bunch of rope and tie a noose and hang yourself.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm trying not to be too down on it, but I'm not looking forward to things.
It's always nice to recap a pay-per-view event, regardless of how shitty it is, really. And you really have to have that attitude going into this, because we have King of the Ring 95 coming up, SummerSlam 95. I mean, these are some of the worst pay-per-views of all time.
Now listen, I don't want to hear negative talk about King of the Ring 95, where the only true king was ever crowned.
Right. King Viscera.
I can hear the excitement in your voice as we speak. But thank you all again. I think this will be it. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Jason. That's Joe. We're both talking for Ryan. Bye-bye.